Hi everyone, we're going to look at how to solve these equations and inequalities that have variables on both sides. This is one of the first new types of equations we see in 8th grade math. We haven't seen this stuff in 7th grade math. So what we do is we want to make it again like an easy equation. We want to get back to what we're used to always. We're used to seeing a two-step with a variable on one of the sides. So just move one of the variables so they only have variables on one side. I usually move the smaller variable. Usually that avoids negatives, and it makes it a little bit easier to work with inequalities too. That's my suggestion. So looking at these two variables, I've got a 5x and a 10x. Which one's smaller? Well, the 5x. So I'm going to get rid of that by moving it to the other side by subtracting it. That gets rid of it here. So 29 equals 9 plus 5x. Now we're back to a two-step. Can't touch the variable. Move the 9. So we get 20 equals 5x. Divide both sides by 5, and we get our answer. 4 is x. So we just got to move the variables so they're all on one side, and then we get back to a two-step and solve from there. To check this, like you always do, just plug in the number into both sides wherever you see x's, and make sure that both sides are equal. So for the left side, it'd be 5 times 4 plus 29. The right side would be 9 plus 10 times 4. Don't put the equal sign yet because we don't know that these are equal. We want to show that they're equal. So 5 times 4 would be 20 plus 29, which is 49. So hopefully the right side is 49, but don't just assume it is. Order of operations says to multiply 10 times 4 first, which is 40, and then do the plus 9, which is, of course, 49. So we did it correctly, which is great. So our answer is 4, and we just checked it so we know we're correct. For the next one, it works the same way for any letter, any variable. So we're going to use g. Same idea. So we're going to move the g's. The smaller g is over here, negative 2g, so I'm going to move it by adding. So now it just equals, so negative 34 equals negative 2 plus 4g. Back to a two-step. Can't touch this. Move the negative 2 by adding it. You get negative 32 equals 4g. Divide both sides by 4, and you're done. Negative 8 equals g. This is what we're going to solve for y. This is the smaller y over here, the negative, so we're going to do plus 1y. You can move either one, doesn't make a difference. I just always move the smaller one. So 4y, bring everything else down, back to a two-step. Move the 8 by subtracting. So we get 36 equals 4y, divide by 4, 9 is y. Done. Works the same way for inequalities. And here's where it gets a little bit easier if you move the smaller one, because you won't ever divide by a negative. Well, less of the time you'll divide by a negative if you move the smaller one, I should say. So negative 4x here, we're going to get rid of by adding 4x to both sides. I think actually, yeah, you'll never divide by a negative if you always move the smaller one. Test that, make sure I'm right. So this would be 2 is greater than negative 14 plus 2x. Back to a two-step, move the 14, negative 14, by adding it. So 16 is greater than 2x, divide by 2, and you get 8 is greater than x, which is the same thing as x is less than 8. If you move the other one, you would get the same exact answer. If we do plus 2x to both sides instead, you would get 2 minus 2x is greater than negative 14 if you add the 2x over instead. And then minus 2, negative 2x is greater than negative 16, divided by negative 2, divided by negative 2. Here's where you have to flip the symbol because you divide by a negative, and you get the same thing. A couple more examples here. Smaller variable is negative 2c, so I'm going to add 2c to both sides. So negative 15 is greater than 3c minus 6. Two-step, can't touch that variable. Move the 6 by adding it over. You get negative 9 is greater than 3c. Divide by 3, and you got your answer. This is the same thing as c is less than negative 3. If you like the variable coming first, same idea like that. Okay, one more here. The smaller variable would be the 4b, so I'm going to move that instead of the other one. So we get 1 plus 3b is greater than or equal to negative 17. Two-step, get rid of this 1 by subtracting it. So 3b is greater than or equal to negative 18. Divide by 3. We're not dividing by a negative, so the symbol doesn't flip. So there's our answer.